God. To see if we can connect 10. Why is nobody ready? You said taint.
So juvenile. Book number 1.
What did I say?
You said book number 10, book number 9.
Oh, oops, sorry.
Oh my god. Okay, from woman eating.
Now I have to flip them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next one.
Sure.
You want to do it?
I forgot.
Ben. Oh. So yeah. But so the other day I was just telling them, that I'm a teacher, you have to take me seriously. Oh.
We're back.
Hello. Welcome back to our channel. So glad to see you again. We are Shelf Possessed. I'm Craig.
And I'm David.
And we are happy to be back here today. We have a special video for you. We were tagged by Elizabeth at Reading Riley to do what she's calling the telephone book tag. And what this is basically 10 books, and we play a game of telephone throughout the covers of the books, the covers and the content, and see if we can get from books 1 to books 10. And so we have gladly accepted the tag and accepted the challenge. We've picked our books, and we're going to show them off to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we get started, I want to say one quick thing. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah. We've noticed that there are a fair amount of new people here. Thank you. We're so glad that you subscribed. We're so glad that you came to our channel. We're so glad that you are along for this journey. So thank you for that. And we so thank you for subscribing and for joining us. And we hope that you will continue along with us as we go. So thank you for coming. Welcome to the community.
Okay.
Before we start, we should probably remind everyone, we are a gay couple in the Midwest, and we love everything about books. Buying books,
Selling books,
book tagging, book reading, returning books, hoarding, yeah, all the things that are related to books we love. So we're also really grateful to Elizabeth over at Reading Riley. I'll tag her down below, and I'll pop up her information here on the screen. If you aren't subscribed to her, I'd recommend it, especially if you love thrillers, if you love horror. She's like chef's kiss, like a perfect channel in my opinion. So check her out, subscribe to her if you haven't. She also tagged a few other booktubers, which I'm going to link down below as well, and they have amazing channels too. So check them out too and give them some love. So,
okay.
Should we do it?
Let's do it.
Okay. You want to talk about the first one?
I don't know the first one.
So we should say we picked all physical books that we have in our library to make it a little extra harder on ourselves. And we have read some of them, and some of them we haven't.
Some of them I didn't even know that we had until we kind of went on a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, it was a fun little journey to see kind of what books we actually have, Even when putting all of this together and moving books into it, it was like, oh, I didn't know we had that book, or where did that book go? Yeah. So there's a few in here that we haven't read, but most of them we have at least some experience with in this small part. So number one, our number one book. I'm also going to say Elizabeth ended with a book called Constance, which has a red thumbprint on the cover and a white cover. And she did say that if you wanted to make it extra hard, you could try to tie it to her book and then take our journey through. I don't know that we've officially done that. I'm going to say we've tenuously done that. Because the book had red on the cover, our first book also has red on the cover, so I'm just going to say that they're connected. Is that cheating? Am I cheating?
No.
Yeah? Okay. So our first book is An Unwanted Guest by Sherry Lapina. Red. See? There's red. An Unwanted Guest takes place in a Catskills inn, and people are snowed in, and someone unwanted shows up, and madness ensues. So there's a lot of like Trapped vibes, like Shining vibes, Agatha Christie, mystery. I hate the word, and I say it so much.
I have to take a shot every time he says vibes.
Yeah. You'd be drunk by the end of the video, so. But this was the first book. It was just kind of randomly sitting on our bookshelf, so I just grabbed it out. And this is the first book I grabbed, and then we tried to connect everything to that, basically. So that is our first book.
Okay.
Do you think you're interested in reading this book?
I had no idea that we had that book until you showed it to me. When did you get that book?
Oh, I think I bought it on Book Outlet, like during the pandemic.
Okay.
When I was just going on Book Outlet sprees.
Ever remember you buying that book. I don't remember ever seeing that book. Okay, but hold that one up, and then I'll talk a little bit about this one.
This is book number 1.
Okay, so to tie in An Unwanted Guest, we tied that into Kimmy Cunningham Grant's This Silent Woods Snow. Some snow in there too.
Red.
Craig bought this for me for my birthday. This came in that big, huge birthday haul back in March. So this has been on my wish list for a very, very long time, so I haven't gotten around to reading it. But I don't know if any of you have read or even seen the movie Leave No Trace with Ben Foster. It's about a father and their child living off the grid in the woods, and somehow the outside world comes in to taint that world that he has created over time. Okay, so we get a little bit of those vibes. So there's that. So that's how those two are connected.
There's also a sense of, there's like people trapped in a cabin, people trapped in an inn. So there's a lot of like trapped things happening here.
I wouldn't say they're trapped. They're kind of isolated.
Isolated. Yeah. We mostly did the snow and the red. And then when we were kind of discovering the books, it was like there's a little bit of an isolated thing going on in both books. So we thought that was an interesting tie as well. So you can see in this cover, there's woods and snow and all of that. So we were trying to find a book that would connect to this book. And we were looking for books that had like, forest, trees, anything like that on the cover. And so the next one we pulled out was Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky, which, you can't really see it, but that light is like, there we go. There's some woods there. And also this has some intense like Stephen King vibes, right? And they're both like, well, this is more of a thriller and this is more of a horror book, but we tied them that way. So yeah. And you haven't read this yet either, right?
No,
and I haven't either.
I think we've had there's been times where we've been wanting to do it.
Yeah, but it's
each TBR, but it always seems to just kind of...
It's 800 pages long.
And it's not
700
really,
pages.
Anything over, I would say, 400 is very hard for us to do, especially during this school year.
Yeah.
So, maybe the summer read, I don't know, it just keeps being pushed back.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So, book 1, An Unwanted Guest, to These Silent Woods. To Imaginary Friends by Stephen Chbosky. And our next one.
Okay, so since we saw that shadowy figure there, we looked through our library, and one that we found was also kind of like, since this was kind of inspired by little Stephen King inspiration, we have Stephen King's Misery. And as you can see, there's a shadowy figure there in the background, casting a huge shadow.
And he works with an axe.
Shadowy figure.
They're both horror books, technically. So that also ties them together as well. So we went Unwanted Guest, These Silent Woods, Imaginary Friend, Misery.
I also think Misery is a love story too. That's just me.
It's a kind of love story, I suppose.
One-sided.
So when we looked at this cover, and we kind of, I mean, we both know Misery pretty well.
There's snow in the background there too.
And there is snow in the background. We're like doing full circle here. But the bloody kind of reddish font was the thing that we kind of thought about next. Also, you have, people stuck in a house, isolated again. And so the next book we picked had both of those kind of things as well. There also happens to be some shadowy figures on this cover as well, which I just realized because they're right there.
Oh.
So we got multiple connections in this one. The next one we chose is Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. Scary house, bloody red font, shadowy figures, both horror novels. Kill Creek is about an abandoned house where something happened in the past, and then there are some people who are investigating that now, and they decide to stay in the house, and some terribly strange things happen to them.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Also, it's set close to where we live, so that's cool as well. But we thought these two would be a good tie together. Also, you got black and red, and yeah, it all works.
There's also a Kill Creek close by.
There is. Literally yesterday we drove over it. Yep.
Okay, so there in Kill Creek we have a very scary haunted house. We also have a haunted house in Simone St. James, the Book of Cold Cases. There also as well. I had just finished this book. When was it? Last week? A few weeks ago? Yeah, we'll leave it at that. So there's that. So there's those connections because there's kind of a haunting in this book as well. Not to this degree as Kill Creek, because this one is like batshit crazy, but this one is a little bit more of a Lifetime haunting, like a Lifetime movie network haunting.
This is also essentially what has happened in this house is a cold case as well. So in tying that to this, like they don't really know what's happened in this house, so they're trying to figure that out, and that's kind of links that as well.
It's almost like a true crime dynamic too happening as well. So that's a good connection there.
That was fun. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So we went from scary house to single car. We were like, okay, let's find a book with a car on the cover. And weirdly, while we found a book with a car on the cover, it also has very similar color stories. These two books the book covers have very similar color stories. And they're both like in the thriller horror genre. We kind of have that kind of going through all of these, I think, actually. And our next one is Reprieve by James Hahn Matson. Reprieve is about a young person who has died in a haunted escape room. And then there's some legal things that come after that. And so there's a car, but also the color stories are pretty similar too. You've got a lot of this, like the same kind of colorish things. The fonts are actually kind of similar as well in a way. So yeah, that was our next choice. Neither one of us have read this yet, and it's like we've owned this since December, and I haven't read it yet, but soon.
Okay, so looking at this almost looks like a painting of some kind. So we thought, what other book in our library kind of looks like a painting? And since this was already on my nightstand, and I think it's a beautiful cover. Beautiful cover. That's Claire Coda's Woman Eating. So if you put them side by side, and just kind of both very
they're beautiful paintings,
works of art.
Yeah,
there. So yeah, have not read this yet. I'm tackling that this coming week for that wrap up. That may wrap up. So
content-wise, they're not super similar at all. But the thing I just noticed in looking at them too, similarly, the fonts are actually pretty similar.
Yeah.
As well. So those two are tied that way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is book 9, and we're on to our 10th book. So the last book, we were looking at this cover, and the fruit is obviously a big part of this right here. And so we're like, okay, well, let's find a cover with fruit on it. And we actually struggled to find this last one pretty hard. Like it took us a while. And then I found one that actually has a very similar color story. Great book. This one loves. and I haven't read yet. And it has fruit all over the cover. So, and that next one is Writers and Lovers by Lily King. And you can see fruit, and then you have this like peach, beigey, tan, and red. Like they look like they belong in the same family. Yeah. They don't content-wise by any means. But this is, about what the artistic process and the process of creating, and this is the process of like understanding who you are and accepting who you are, even if you happen to be a vampire, So we thought those two worked out, pretty well. So yeah. So that's our last book. So we have book number 10 and then book number 1. Also, weirdly look related in some way.
Bit.
The black, white, red thing. Yeah. Yeah. So we went from, as a review, okay, we'll just go backwards just really quickly. Yeah, just cover it. I hate that. So from Writers and Lovers, we went to
Claire Coda's Woman Eating.
From Woman Eating, we went to Reprieve. Can I hold all these?
Yes. To The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. And then from The Book of Cold Cases to Kill Creek there. Scary House. And Kill Creek with that red bloody font. We go to Stephen King's Misery also with that as well.
Shadowy Figures.
We hit Stephen Chbosky, Imaginary Friend. Figure, Annie Wilkes there. Scary Little Boy, of course, as you do. From there, we go to Kimmy Cunningham Grant's The Silent Woods.
Isolation, Woods. Winter.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then from there to the snow, we go to the snows of An Unwanted Guest.
Okay.
You did it.
I have them all in my hand.
There you go.
And there's our telephone tag stack. Also, I think an actually pretty good, like, if this was going to be like your TBR stack, these are good. So that was fun.
That was fun.
I like that. I like mostly that we got to do a little scavenger hunt through our bookshelves to kind of find all of these things.
Thank you, Elizabeth, because we found some books that I didn't even know we had.
Uh-huh. And books that we'll probably, we have all this extra time on over the summer. They'll go onto our TBR probably.
Mm-hmm.
So, because this is a book tag, and, Elizabeth was so gracious to tag us, I think that we're going to tag 3 folks as well. But as Elizabeth said in her video, if you're watching this and you want to participate, consider yourself tagged. We're just going to throw these 3 people out there and tag them and see, what they think and what they do. So hopefully they'll be able to join us in this. So we're going to drop our tags. We'll put a photo up of their channel, and their channel information will be below. So we'll tag them below as well. So check out their channels, and hopefully they'll join us in this little journey. So the first channel that we're going to tag is Rekindled Reader. New subscriber to us, new friend. We enjoy his channel quite a bit, so we're going to tag you to participate in the telephone tag. Our second tag that we are going to shout out there is Leo Bancroft. Been a subscriber for a long time and consistently comments on our channel, so we're excited that you're here. We hope that you'll participate in the tag.
And our third tag goes to Michael's Boo in Books. Also, someone who comments a lot on our channel and gives us a lot of love and attention. Yep. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank all 3 of you for constantly coming here and joining us, and we hope that you'll join us in this tag. And if you weren't tagged, I apologize, but please just do it. Like, you have a channel, do it. You are on Instagram, do it. Show us what you got. I like to see your journey there. That is the telephone book tag. Again, thank you, Elizabeth, for tagging us. We really appreciate it. This was fun. We really enjoyed it. So thank you all for coming back to our channel, for joining us again. You should check us out on Instagram.
At shelf_possessed. And shortly, hopefully, we'll have a TikTok account as well.
If you search it, you can find it. There's just nothing there yet. No. But this one's going to run TikTok for us. That's exciting.
No, it's not.
Yes. Check out our links down below too. You can follow me on the Storygraph, and I will also put my Goodreads, even though I don't really use Goodreads as much anymore. I tend to like Storygraph a lot better. There's also a Libro FM affiliate link in the description box below, and we'll link to Elizabeth's original video, so you can watch that as well. So, we are Self-Possessed. I'm Craig.
And I'm David.
Thank you for coming back. We're so grateful for you, and we will see you in the next one.